Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor. Have you ever felt like you don't belong here, or have you ever wished that you could go home? I know that I have, and unfortunately, the belief that you belong somewhere else is keeping you stuck. And I don't blame you. I was one of those kids that would look up at the stars and stare at the sky and feel this yearning for something. And I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe I wanted to go home to the stars. I felt a call towards them and I felt emotional when I looked at them. And I didn't understand why. And I longed for something that I couldn't put my finger on. And it's really easy for us, conscious, awake, heart centered beings, to feel out of place in a society that doesn't care about what we care about. It doesn't prioritize the things we prioritize. And we can feel really different from everyone else. And so it makes sense that with our unique design and awakened perspective, we would seem abnormal or like we don't belong here. I get it. And I used to believe that I wanted to go home as well, even though I didn't know what that was, right? Before I could finally feel at home, I had to go on this journey of what I'm about to explain to you. I wanted to find peace. I remember asking myself at one point, what is it that I'm really seeking? Really getting intimate with what am I yearning for? It was peace, it was joy, happiness. And I thought that I could find it in this world. And when I discovered I couldn't, it felt like there was something wrong with me, or I must be abnormal. I must not belong here if I can't figure out how to find what I'm seeking here. And for a long time, for the vast majority of my life, I felt like I was never going to be able to be happy. I was never going to be able to enjoy my life, let alone love it. But what I've discovered is that the belief that we don't belong here is what's causing us to be stuck and to continue to experience pain. It keeps us from enjoying the life that we have a potential to love, not to mention all of the other limiting beliefs that might pop up. I want to call attention to the fact that you're probably going to say, I could never be happy here. I'll never be able to enjoy my life. It's just not possible for me. I'm sort of in a holding pattern, waiting until I can exit and start a new life or go to heaven or whatever your belief is, right? I want you to notice this limitation before I continue to go on to explain to you how you can actually move from this feeling of not belonging or wanting to go home to not just enjoying your life, but loving your life. It is possible, and I'm going to tell you how, but I need you now in this moment to recognize whatever limiting beliefs are coming up for you. If you believe that I can never possibly be happy here, I could never possibly feel at home here, I will never possibly enjoy my life, and certainly loving my life is completely off the table, I need you to notice what you are creating for yourself. We create the walls of our own prison. As within, so without, you are the creator of your reality. Notice the limitation that you have just put on yourself, because I'm sure you've heard, but if you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. So now let's go back to the original belief of I don't belong here. We have to ask ourselves, what specific situation or thing makes you feel that way? Has there ever been a time when maybe you did feel at home or maybe possibly enjoyed your life just a little bit? What gives you the sense of not belonging? I don't want to move too fast because these questions are really, really important. Get intimate with what is it that is missing that causes you to not feel at home? What do you need to feel at home? And have you ever felt even remotely close to at home or joy or peace or whatever the thing is that you're missing? Take the time to sit and contemplate this. What would give you a sense of belonging? If you had a choice to feel safe and loved and accepted here, or go to some unknown place and hope that you feel at home there, what would you choose? What is it that you're really seeking? Are you seeking some off-planet utopia? And if that is what you think, you're absolutely convinced is the only thing that could possibly make you feel at home, what are you going to get when you're there? What is it that you are? It's because it's always emotional. What is it that you want to feel? Right? We know that it is possible. There is evidence. There are people who have felt this way, who have found peace and a sense of belonging here, right? Eckhart Tolle is a perfect example of someone who was so tortured that he wanted to end his life. He publicly states this, and yet he has been able to find a tremendous amount of peace, and he is sharing his journey to help save and change other lives. For those of us who experienced a difficult childhood, the desire to go home may come from a longing for safety and love and connection, to be accepted, right? We don't have to go off planet to find what we need. We can create a sense of home within ourselves, because home is where the heart is. I've had countless clients who have healed and said to me, it feels like home. And I had that same feeling too. That was the peace that I was seeking. By finding the peace within, we carry the sense of home with us wherever we go. So, how do we do it? It starts with healing our trauma. We use somatic healing therapies to heal our trauma, and somatic means of the body, which means it's in the body, and we have to work with the body to heal the trauma. The body keeps the score, the trauma is housed in the body. And that's why with all of the cognitive processes that we have used may not have worked. This is why we feel like talk therapy is a waste of time. This is why we feel like you can do all the things, QHHT, hypnosis, affirmations, meditations, retreats, psychedelics, breath work, all the things. And now I will say of all of those, breath work probably moves things the most. But for me, in my experience, they moved the needle about this much. And I felt like I always reverted back. It's this guise of perpetual healing, right? The healing journey is lifelong and it will never end. Well, that might be true. As spiritual beings, we are going to be continually elevating our awareness and our consciousness, but it doesn't mean that we have to feel stuck. Feeling stuck is a lack of progress. The one thing that did work for me was somatic healing therapies. Trauma spotting saved my life. Trauma spotting is based on brain spotting, EMDR, and combines energy healing and whatever intuitive guidance I receive. EMDR was okay. It was a little bit abrasive for me. Brain spotting was pretty good, but it was the combination of source healing with that made leaps and bounds for me. In a traditional therapy office, your therapist might have the personal belief that life is just hard and it's always going to be suffering. And there just becomes this block that you hit where you can't quite go any farther. That's why we have to embrace the belief that life can be good and life can be easy, because your beliefs create your reality. And that is psychologically proven. We have plenty of scientific evidence to speak to the fact that an atom will change based on the consciousness that is observing it. When we work with the body, so let's just say you were maybe you had a troubled childhood, maybe you were in a toxic relationship, maybe you were in the military or the services. If you did not feel safe, seen, heard, cared for, or loved for an extended period of time, you likely are dealing with something called complex trauma. What happens in these moments where we don't feel safe, COVID's a perfect example. For an extended period of time, there's an open trauma loop and it is housed in the body. So a fight or flight response is activated, but not completed, because nobody taught us how to complete these cycles, how to heal and move trauma through the body, how to recognize common trauma responses. So what the trauma spotting does is it works with the body to leverage the natural healing abilities of the body to not only close those trauma loops and relieve the body of that trauma, but it also works with the limbic system and your subconscious brain to reprogram those limiting beliefs that keep you stuck. Perfect example is I don't belong here. That is a limiting belief. What we've effectively done is told ourselves it is completely impossible for me to at all enjoy this life, or to, heaven forbid, ever love this life. And I have to stay in this holding pattern until I move on to the next life to find happiness or joy or peace or happiness or whatever it is that you seek. This is the beauty. This is why it can seem so elusive. What are my blocks? I can't figure out what's holding me back. Why can't I manifest? Because our body is the manifestation mechanism. You don't manifest what you want with your cognitive brain. You manifest what you believe you deserve with your subconscious brain. That's why the trauma is the block that keeps you from living your life and enjoying your life and believing that you can belong here. So, as someone who can relate to this belief, I want you to know it is possible. Just start with opening a crack of awareness to it might be possible for me. This is profoundly life-changing. There are so many beautiful heart-centered beings who are tucked away in isolation because of the pain and the trauma of the past, that don't have to live that way anymore. You can not only be free, you can not only like your life, but you can love your life. I promise you, it is possible. I am a living example, and so are many of my other clients, right? If we don't do the work to heal and find that love and safety and peace that we seek, we will continue to suffer. We will continue to believe that life has to be hard, that it's impossible to enjoy, that we'll miss out on the beautiful connections with the loved ones who want to love us. They want to come into our life, but right now we're not letting them in. We might miss out on our dream home, or the beautiful children, or the birth of our dreams, or who knows, right? The struggle that we will see will continue. The struggle that we currently see is what will continue. We'll struggle to see even the tiny details of beauty that are all around us, like the glimmering drop of water on a leaf, right? We'll never be able to step into our purpose, let alone claim our abundance birthright. And the chances are high that we will struggle with illness and disease and remain in dis-ease in our life. So we have to choose. We have to choose. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be the bitter, hidden seeker who resents life and wants to wait until you reincarnate into a better one? Or do you want to be the purpose-driven entrepreneur, light worker, starseed, whoever you chose to come here to be? You can learn how to love life. You don't have to wait for another lifetime. The other option is to be healed, to go through the shadows, to do the work. And there is an arc of healing. It doesn't happen in a couple of weeks, but I promise most people after 6 months to a year feel like a completely new person, ready to enjoy life and shine their lights, use their hardships to help heal others, learn to truly love your life and to be loved. So if you're finally ready to create a life you love, then check out one of the discovery sessions below. Contact me. Let's get on a call. Let's talk through what you're working through. I can explain any questions or the process of trauma spotting. I'm happy to share free 30 minutes of my time to help you move into a new place. Otherwise, we do live trauma spotting sessions in our community. You also get access to a course. The community link is below. Check it out. I think it's called the Vibe Tribe now. We used to be called the New Earth Construction Team, but that was confusing people. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. This is all about healing the blocks and wounds that hold you back, reprogramming those subconscious beliefs, or even conscious ones like I don't belong here. Freedom is possible. You can enjoy your life. I would pinky promise you that. And you can ask my kids. I don't make promises I can't keep. All right. I love you, my friends. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. Sending you love. Namaste.